It said that hope for a Brexit agreement still lives on in London. The government says the MPs should keep the Christmas days free. Parliament's approval would be certain, on the other hand, it said. Officially, it still said that failure is the most likely outcome of talks with the European Union, but internally, the British government is preparing for the early ratification of an agreement by Parliament. Jacob Rees-Mogg, as the leader of the House in the government, has to organize the processes in the lower house, gave signals to the MPs that they should keep the next week with the Christmas holidays free for meetings. The only exception is December 25th, which is the focus of Christmas in Great Britain and on which no parliament has met since 1656. In an internal party podcast of the ruling Conservatives, Rees-Mogg said that after a deal is signed by the Prime Minister, ideally 6 days should be allowed for in which Parliament debates and votes, and finally the Queen also signs it. The process can also be shortened. The politician recalled the year 1936 when, after the abdication of King Edward VIII, Parliament passed on to his brother George VI within 1 day. Labour also wants an EU deal. Parliament can act very quickly if it's necessary, and the will exists, said Rees-Mogg. He also mentioned the possibility of ratification at the very last minute in early January, but warned of a possible legal challenge. Unlike his predecessor Theresa May, Prime Minister Boris Johnson would not have to fear so much about the adoption of a Brexit treaty. He has a majority of 80 seats. It's now considered unlikely that more than 40 Conservative MPs will vote against it. So the ERG is not as strong as they hope. Most MPs would trust Johnson if he were to pass a deal shortly before closing time, an influential Brexit supporter from the group was quoted as saying. In contrast to last year, the Conservative government can also hope that large sections of the opposition will approve the agreement. Labour leader Keir Starmer has repeatedly said that from his party's perspective, a deal is better than none. However, he left the back door open by always emphasizing that one had to see the details before the decisive vote. The prospects for a successful conclusion of the talks in Brussels were reflected on the financial markets and in betting shops on Wednesday. Many news sites gave great weight to the speech that EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen gave in the EU Parliament that morning. In it, she spoke of differences that still had to be bridged, but she also said there is now a path to an agreement. In the government district of London, it was only said that there was still no breakthrough. The delegations, which continue to meet in Brussels, are still looking for compromises on the fisheries issue and the conditions of competition, particularly with regard to state aid. A report in the Financial Times newspaper is unlikely to have simplified the negotiations. It said the British government was making plans to overtake Singapore as a seat for shipping companies. Consideration would be given to massive tax breaks and deregulation, which would not have been possible within the framework of the EU. Prime Minister Johnson has been emphasizing for some time that he wants to make the kingdom a sea power again. In contrast, the Ministry of Transport in London on Wednesday refused to comment on a leaked report. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel, visit my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.